Companies like Tops are starting to use dynamic pricing. This will hurt and impact the hobby and us collectors. Let's look at why and discuss. Tops have recently decided to utilize and enforce dynamic pricing on their products. The product in particular that this has started with is Dynasty, that was literally just released a couple of weeks ago. As you know, Dynasty is one of, if not the most high-end product that comes out within our soccer hobby. So having dynamic pricing implemented on it is a worrying thing going ahead for us collectors and the hobby in general. So straight out of the gate, I suspect some people are saying, what the fuck is dynamic pricing? Dynamic pricing is a pricing strategy that is used on a product or service over time. It is based on real-time factors and real-time elements instead of being fixed. So basically, that price that it is to start with is no guarantee as what it will finish with. Factors that come into play with dynamic pricing are demand, hype, supply, and customer behavior. As I said at the beginning, the current example we have of this is Topps Dynasty. It was initially released at £1,300, so £1,300, and then after a week, they increased the price based off their dynamic pricing to £2,800. That is an increase of £1,500 in a week based off Topps's dynamic pricing. But why would they do dynamic pricing?
You smell that? What is that?
What?
What's that smell?
A cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
No. Money.
Oh, okay.
I smell money.
Okay.
Since there was a high demand for Dynasty, and since there is currently a high demand for most of their products, it allows them the ability to increase their revenue from week to week.
We're not going to go crazy spending our winnings, and we're not going to let this money change us.
What are you talking about? This money is our ticket to the good life. Starting now. I just bought a giant room full of gold coins, and I'm going to dive into it like Scrooge McDuck. Ah! It's not a liquid! It's a great many pieces of solid matter that form a hard floor-like surface! Ah!
So why is dynamic pricing bad for us collectors and bad for the hobby? Tops are doing this on products based off their demand and hype, not necessarily off the product's actual value. It's also scary because Tops manufacture and create their own hype for each product. So they can say, well, we've seen a lot of attention based off our marketing, so thus it justifies the increase in price. Allowing Tops to alter their pricing on a product in real time is a scary and slippery slope to go down. They feel that they can justify the increase in price because they say a lot of people are wanting that product. But the product itself hasn't changed from week 1 to week 2, from month 1 to month 4. The product itself is the same. It allows the passion and drive for collecting to start being replaced by scalping and scalpers. So it starts to become a tricky environment for products and collectors because a lot of people are going to go out there, grab that product and scalp it on the secondary market. Allowing dynamic pricing brings in FOMO and panic buying. People, of course, are going to start just buying straight away because they don't want to have to pay several hundred or several $1,000s a week or 2 weeks down the track. People are going to feel pressured to buy that product, that release, straight away. We currently are in a market and in an environment where every new release sells out quickly. So there's going to be even more pressure by having dynamic pricing for people to get that product straight away. We're also seeing products sell out with even a fucking checklist available. So people are going to even more buy now, think later. It leads to a very unstable environment, a very unstable hobby that only benefits tops and doesn't benefit the rest of us, doesn't benefit us collectors.
I have homo FOMO. Fear of missing out on another mo. It's a never-ending buffet of men out there. What if I pick the stale cookie right as they bring out the cheesecake?
Breakers will benefit while collectors will feel the hurt. Breakers can easily pass on that price rise within their spots within their breaks. And they are able to do this while still maintaining their profit. It will further widen the gap between those that like to rip open cards for fun and those who like to rip open cards for profit.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
Having this kind of pricing scheme allows the conversation around gambling and collecting to become even more prevalent and even more important. Now, when you look at a new product, you need to consider your odds and you need to consider the gamble, whether the price will rise and whether it is a good idea to buy it straight away or wait. This further aligns with what we all know, that opening up wax is a gamble already. Tops are allowing and manufacturing collecting of cardboard feel more like sports betting. They are pushing the hobby further away from its roots with this kind of mentality.
No more bets. The money that could have gone to your kids is gone. No more bets. The money you worked hard for is gone. Fools, fools, fools.
If dynamic pricing keeps occurring, you are further impacting people's trust and people's faith within the manufacturers. A lot of us collectors understandably have a lot of trust issues when it comes to companies and manufacturers within the hobby. We often feel like we aren't taken seriously and we're just being manipulated and taken for a ride. Changing the price from week in to week out of a new product further shows collectors that you don't care about them and you're not worth being trusted. If tops keep impacting the trust that collectors have, the hobby gets weaker. People don't trust a manufacturer. Why would they want to stick around in the hobby?
Can I trust you? Can I trust you? Answer me, can I trust you?
You are ultimately and potentially pricing out new and current collectors in the hobby. Imagine being a new collector into soccer cards and you see that within a week, the price of a new product has gone up by £1,500. The amount of thoughts and feelings going on for that person is going to be quite overwhelming. They must be thinking, do I need to watch new products and their prices like it's a stock market? And is this kind of behavior normal for a manufacturer to pull off? Changing prices on people is going to leave a bitter taste. It's going to scare people away from starting into the hobby or staying in the hobby. You're creating an unfair, confusing, and intimidating environment. We want people to come into the hobby, not be scared out of the hobby. We want people to stay in the hobby rather than get driven into debt and feel like they've got no financial ability to stay in it.
'Cause I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet. Credit card debt. Tomorrow I may buy myself a dining room set or this Boba Fett. Credit card debt, credit card debt, credit card debt.
While dynamic pricing hasn't been fully implemented on every release, Tops have shown us that they have it in their back pocket and they're ready and willing to use it whenever they feel like. Dynamic pricing, if allowed to be used on more than just one product, let's say it's used on every product or every second product that is released during a year, it's going to impact and affect this hobby that we love. It will drive people away from the hobby. It will make people leave the hobby. But how do we stop dynamic pricing? Be aware of the price of a product when it initially comes out. Be aware of the price of a spot for entering a break when the product has just come out. When you see that pricing change, don't buy into those breaks. Don't buy the product. By spending your money in those moments when there's been a price increase, you're showing tops that you're okay with dynamic pricing. You're telling them that this system they're going to implement, you're A-okay with, and you should never be A-okay with it. So speak with your wallet. Don't spend when it has increased. As I always say, collect smart, collect with your heart, collect smarter, not harder. So what do you think about dynamic pricing? Have you seen it happen on products? Do you think this is something we're going to see more of? Or do you think this is a one-off and it doesn't really bother you? I love to hear your opinions as always. Sound off on those comments down below. This has been Totally Football Cards. My name's Jeremy. Yeah, buddy. Let's get it.